What's up, CW fans? This is episode number 4 of the CFT1 build, and we left off when we were just about to get cooking on installing the IRF 510 MOSFET. As you can see, we have a standoff that we're going to have to find, and we're going to have to install it on the board. If you kind of maybe fast forward a little bit, you can kind of see why that's going to have to be. And it looks like we need to put the MOSFET in there upside down, because the back of it is going to be up against one of the, I think it's a heat sink or something like that. There's, yeah, back plate heat sink later. So that's what it's going to ultimately look like. So we'll just kind of back off here and make sure we have all of the parts. So there's a little grommet here that we need to find. And it looks like there might even be a little backing nut also. So looks like an M3-10 millimeter hex standoff, secure it with the M3 nut. So let's look for this stuff. All right, so we have a bunch of standoffs here. And it looks like, from the looks of it, there are maybe small ones. Those, I'm guessing, are the small ones. Here's couplers. So I don't really care about that. I don't even know. Can you see that? Let's see. There we go. So we have some small ones, small ones, small ones, a couple of couplers, small ones, and then here's the large one that we need. It looks like that right there. So that is going to go right there. Just kind of let it sit there a second. I know it's kind of dangerous. And then I have some of the stuff here. We should be able to find, whoops, I think this is going to be the little grommet that we need. Figure that out in a second. Actually, let's get the MOSFET. It looks like that grommet does fit in there nicely. So I'm just going to put the MOSFET over here a second. And it looks like we have a couple of different nuts. So let's make sure that this goes onto here and the thread is correct, and it is. It looks good. So what I'm going to do is install this like so, and then sneak the nut onto the back of that thing and secure it. Probably don't have to use a ton of strength to secure it. I was just going to, let's get something simple like a little pliers just to twist it in. All right. That works. Good enough. Might even be able to get underneath there. Get a second pliers. We'll hold that steady and then just do a slight turn to snug it. There we go. Okay, so we've got the first thing set, and that's what he wanted us to do. And then the next thing is, all right, we need to bend the leads of the MOSFET shown just like that, which we kind of know why it's going to have to be that way. And then we have to put this grommet between the IRF 510 and the standoff, which we know, and it's going to ultimately look like that. We know where it's going to go, and that's what it's going to look like. So I guess there's a screw. I have to throw a screw in there, apparently. That's interesting. All right, cool. We'll get that cooking. We'll see what that looks like. So here's the MOSFET, and let's see how we need to do this. Here, let's scooch this over a little bit. There we go. So what I'm going to do is, I don't want to lose the grommet, so I'm just putting it back there. I'll take my needle nose pliers. Let's see if we can do this. It looks like it's almost a 45-degree angle off of the body, maybe a 30-degree angle. something like that. And then, maybe halfway down, going vertical. So maybe something kind of like so. It isn't the most beautiful and elegant one that I've ever done, but let's see if that works out. So if we take this grommet, put it in there like so, because that's kind of how it has to be. Let's throw the leads in the hole there and make sure that that grommet stays in there. It looks like it's okay. Let's secure it with this screw real quick, just so it all kind of holds it in place. Maybe that's what the screw does, is holds it in place. Get a little screwdriver here. I'm just going to do it slightly snug. And let's take it out and see what it looks like. So I think that is pretty doggone parallel. And it seems like when you screw this down onto the grommet and onto the standoff here, it kind of forces it to be parallel. Is that zoom not working? All right, there we go. Kind of forces it to be parallel. So sorry about the zoom last time. I was having a little bit of a problem with it. I'm not sure why it keeps on not wanting to zoom on what I should be working on here. So all right, so that looks good. The leads are in there, and they are just barely exposed on the other side, which is cool because we don't want a ton there. Oh, by the way, there's the capacitor that I had put in there. I hadn't even soldered it yet. So I'm going to solder that in there, and then we'll solder the IRF 510. So let's get that cooking here. I think that's all we needed, because that looks good. Make sure the back is flat, looks good. It's going to contact the heatsink later. Solder the 3 terminals in place. That's where we are. And then we're going to go on to toroids. It's going to be awesome. All right, so let's get the solder out. And let's get this going. Let's get this capacitor done so it's off of our list of things that we need to do from all the way from episode number 2. And then let's throw some heat on the MOSFET. There's 1. There's 2, and there's 3, right? 1, 2, and 3. All right, so MOSFET's done. And let's get the leads off of the capacitor. Looks good. You can see the solder even flowed to the front side also. Nice. Looking great. All right, so everybody, no, not everybody, but a lot of people do not get excited about winding toroids, and it's really not a big deal. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this over here for now, and we're going to talk about winding toroids. So if you read through this, it really gives a lot of good information. As a matter of fact, the W2AEW has a lot of really great videos on a ton of stuff, electronics, and a lot of relationship to ham radio. And one of them is how to wind a toroid. So take a read at this. It's not that big of a deal. It's pretty cool. We only have to do 6 of them. There is also a bipolar transformer that we're going to have to do also. No big deal on that either. But if we look at this, I'm just going to start arranging all the things that we need. Looks like there are 3 reds and 3 yellow cores. So I'm going to take my bag of tricks, empty it out, and we have, it might not be have the color on both sides all the way. So we've got yellows, so just flip them over. We've got 3 reds. We have 3 yellows. And then this is going to be for a transformer that we're going to wind with this dual color. So we're just going to put this over onto the side. Now what we're going to do here is undo the wire here and start the process. And what I'm going to do is essentially look at maybe the very first one, L18. We're going to use a red one, and we're going to do 8 turns. And it says, well, you're going to need about 8 inches of wire length for that. And I guess we could measure this out. I'll just kind of do a measuring thing here. Measure it out about 8 inches, maybe a little bit longer. Do a little snip, and then we're good. And then all we're going to do is we need to do 8 turns. And if you read what's in the manual here, or you look at W2AEW's videos, you'll see that anytime you actually go through a toroid, that's a turn. So even if you went like this and soldered it in, that's a 1 turn on the toroid. So what you could do, that's 1. Let's whip it around a second time here. And then we're going to go a third time. So that's 3. Let's go number 4. So we're halfway through. Doesn't even take that long, really, right? No big deal. I'm going to try to space these out a little bit, right? So that's 4. I think I can get maybe 1 more turn out of this little end piece of wire. Nah, let's leave it. So that's 4. We're going to swing around in here like so. That will be 5. And it's kind of like almost like knitting or sewing. There is 6. Then we'll swing it around. There is 7. And then going through one more time will be 8. So we're going to go like that. So this comes down, this comes down. This is what it looks like. That is a 8-turn wound toroid. Hopefully let's see here. I think that should be looking good. And they're generally spaced out pretty evenly. You can see, you'll want to count the wires going through. So we've got, if we start at this one right here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is 8 turns. And that is going to be L number 18. So 8 turns, L18. I'm going to now put this right there. Let's do the next red one, which is L23. Got about 10 inches of wire length. I don't even know if we really needed. All right, let's do about 10 inches there. There's another red. All right, so we've got red. We want 11 turns. So we're going to go through 1. I like to kind of go almost halfway down the wire. So that's 1. Let's see, that's 2. So you can see there's 1 and 2. Let's go 3. Let's go 4. Let's go 5. There's no reason to go super slow. I'm not trying to go fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like basket weaving. 7. We'll do 8 will be the last one on this for this side. And there really is no side to the toroid. It's just like, I kind of like to do half of them this way and then half of them that way. That's 8. There's 9. there's 10. And then the last one, that is 11 wires through the hole. Make sure none of these are lapping over each other. We'll inspect that in a moment, but that's what that is going to look like. Now, if we double check, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Double checking, triple checking. Now what I'm going to do is just spread these out, get some uniformity. Right? Might be better to use my needle nose. Now these are enamel covered wires, so I don't want to scratch any enamel off of them because we don't want them to short out or touch each other. And I should say, even if they touch each other, they have enamel on them, so it's okay. But we don't want to scratch off the enamel and then have them touch each other, and that wouldn't be cool. All right, so that is number L23. I'm going to put it right over here. That's going to be the second one in a row. I'm going to keep them in order. Let's do L19 next, which is yellow. We're going to do 8 inches of wire, and we're going to do 9 turns. There's 8 inches of wire. Nine turns. Okay, there's 1 through. There's 2. Just kind of pulling it taut. 3. 4. Right through there is 4. We'll do number 5. There's 5. I think that'll be fine. Let's go finish on the other side. This will be 6. This will be 7. This will be 8. And then we have the final one of number 9. Number 9 is fine. There we go. So I'm going to bring these down. Let's make these uniform, at least mostly uniform. There we go. Pretty decent. So we've got 1 through, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 through. All right, so that's good. So we've got number 9. All right, so that is L19. That's the next one, right? There we go. You can see it, L19. Let's do L21, which is another yellow. And it looks like L21 is also 8 inches with 8 turns. So let's do 8 inches with 8 turns. It doesn't have to be exactly 8 inches. It's just a general estimation of how much you're going to need, which is kind of cool that they provide that. So this is going to be L21, which is going to be 8 turns. So there's your 1, 2, 3. Let's do number 4, 5. And if this is massively boring, I would expect you to fast forward. All right, I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Leave that go. Do the other side. 7. And then 8. There we go. So that's that. Bring this down like so. And let's spread these apart. Make sure that they're somewhat uniform. I don't know how much that really matters, especially for what these are doing. These are going to be some bandpass filters. So there we go. That's L21. Now let's do L20, which is the last one that's in yellow. And that's going to be a 10-incher with 10 winds through. So right about there, roughly. About 10 inches. Good enough. The yellow. You know what I'll do is I'm going to demonstrate if we just kind of do it. Some people do it like this. They have a little bit of lead there, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. You just keep on going. 5. Just kind of pulling it tight each time. 6. 7. And last one is 8. I think that's what we needed. No, we need 10. There's 8. Good thing I checked. Got a lot of wire left here. There's 9. And last but not least, here's 10. Okay, it's going to go on the board like that, right? And let's spread them out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So remember, every time a pass goes through the toroid, it is considered a single winding. Okay, so that is number L20. That goes in the next row here. Oops. And then finally, L22. So when we have a lot of wire like this left over, we'll just kind of, we got 8 inches. We're going to cut it down to 8 inches. Just so we don't have all this extra stuff flopping around here. It's hard enough winding these sometimes. So we'll just kind of go like this, and we'll go 1. That was 1, and this is the second one, right? 1 and 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7, and last one is number 8. So just winding that one toroid right now, just like that, I wonder if it even took a minute. It's not that hard, not that bad. So we're going to go 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool. All right, now that is the last one. All right, so we have some toroids. We have some windings. We're going to put these on the board now, and we're going to talk a little bit about this because we want to make sure that we are careful because, as I mentioned, there is enamel on these wires, and you have to burn them off, burn off the enamel. Like, for example, what I'll do is, here, let me get my quad hands over here. Down there. Let's put this wire on the piece here. And what you'll see is what we should do is not only what if we heat up the wire, you can't probably see it, but you'll see that the enamel is kind of baking off of there, and you're also tinning the wire at the same time. So that's what we want to do when we put these toroids on. So let's do that. So let's go like this. We're going to put this back in business here. We've got our reference right here. Let's see if you can see it. Let's get this tape measure out of here. All right, so L18 was the first one. Let's grab it. And L18 goes right here on the top. So I'm going to drop this in. And I believe the instructions say to strip and tin the wire first. But I'm going to not do that and see how that works out. So we're going to have to flip this over. And let's see how we can do this. And I think he says, leave it on there for like 10 seconds to make sure that the enamel, just get the rest of that glob of solder off of there. Make sure the enamel does bake off of there. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can kind of see it starting to glob actually. You can only, looks like you only need about 5 seconds. And you can kind of tell on the solder pad if it's caught, if it catches or not. If you have like a nice solder ball in there, it probably caught pretty decently. Let's take a look. Looks like it went to the other side too. That's great. Nice. And it looks like it took nicely. So what I'm going to do, snip off the excess and go to the next one. So I think that looks pretty good. And everything with the toroid looks pretty decent too. All right, cool. Let's do number L23, which was the second red one, right? And then L23 goes right here. Doesn't really matter which direction you put them in. I should say it doesn't matter at all. I'm going to put that in there. Flip this over. And I'll do a little bit more explaining, like when I put this on here, for example. I'm going to warm this up, get that hot solder on there, and then I'm kind of rubbing on the wire too, just to, there we go, help get that enamel off of there. Same thing on this side. Because if you just do it like that, I know you can't tell, but it looks like the wire is going into the solder. But if you keep it hot and you start working that enamel off of the solder, it will look like the solder is wrapped around the enamel, which is what we want. There we go. Very nice. I don't like to put the soldering iron on these pads on these PC boards for too long either, because you don't want them to kind of like get all funky and start lifting off either. All right, so that looks good. Looks okay. And I'm glad the solder on the bottom is what took, because you can kind of tell that as the solder seeped through here, it didn't really cook through the enamel on the top side, but that's okay. As long as we have good conductivity and connectivity on the bottom side, that's what we're worried about. Don't get too crazy with trying to make sure that all the enamel everywhere is taken care of, because you just need connectivity. All right, L19. It's kind of going in order here. Okay, there's L19. Bend it this way, bend it that way. Flip it around. Let's have some fun with the solder. Just kind of rubbing the wire a little bit. Looks like that did it. Let's do the other one. Looks like that did it too. Yeah, that looks good. All right, see, we're already 3 down, 3 to go. Okay, let's double check. L21 has 8 windings, and that's all right. Cool. I just want to make sure, because it looked like they kind of got moved around on the table here. All right, so L21's got 8 windings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, that works. L21 goes right in here. Like so. We'll bend left and right. Make that beautiful. Flip it. Okay, this would be toroid number 4. And Jonathan's right in the documentation there. I'd say it is probably about 10 seconds of heat